Las Vegas pastor is accused of molesting a child under the age of 14. The situation allegedly played out while several other adults knew and did nothing. This is 48-year-old Isaac Luna Valencia. He's accused in two separate incidents involving a young girl while on a boat alone with her on Lake Mojave. Interviews with family members who spoke to police about the alleged abuse revealed there were other adults who knew about the situation and did nothing. A polygraph was offered to Luna Valencia by a family member once they found out about the alleged crimes, but he refused. Luna Valencia is due back in court February 20.